we have 2 hours, and I don't think I'm going to take all of that time. But what I do want to do is, I do want to start with some discussion right now, and then I'll go ahead and present my point of view, which is open to debate and discussion and disagreement and all of that good stuff. But I want to ask the group here, very learned, very, very learned, as to why and when do you think this whole concept about the creation of the Khalsa started, and what was the need? Just give it some thought, and let's start with that. And Vichaar, I'd like you to be the last one, because you'll just lay it all out. So wait.
So I'm most ignorant.
Huh? No, you're not. No, you're not. I totally beg to differ. You silence all of us now. Okay, and you know that. So stop fishing for compliments.
Hey, you put me on the path. So
No, Guru put you on the path. I take no credit for your...
You have a big heart.
Okay, so tell me, what do you think, Manita? In the deep. What do you think? When do you think it all started? With which guru? Why was the need? And what does it mean anyways?
I mean, it started from the first guru and of course against Babur, and he was already, raised his protest in that way. I think with the fifth guru, what happened with him and his Shahidi, I think that also kind of propelled the thought that we cannot just sit,
So what was Khalsa about? The Sikhs?
There are two meanings for Khalsa. One is people think that the group and this, which Guru Gobind Singh Ji started, is what is believed, but Khalsa means pure. It's good for everybody, but
Go to what exactly was prevailing in India during the first period, and why, in spite of existence of a number of religions, where was the need for a new one? The new one, essentially because of its Khalsa's very nature and very characteristics of it. So if you want, we can go into those details.
That's very good. That's a very good point.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Vichaar, you get your turn.
Thank
Sorry.
She didn't cut it.
Okay, all right. Mini. Harinderji.
I think, exact, I don't know the reasoning, but definitely before, 10th Guru Khalsa, as in, the deeds, what you would do, what you would want to do, sort of the purity aspect, but more so standing up for things. I think that started definitely even during first, Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time. So the actual word hai udi kad origin, that I don't know. Hopefully we will learn.
More talking about this whole concept of the Khalsa.
Concept of the Khalsa. Okay. Okay.
What Khalsa itself has many dimensions and levels, and as we use it, it applies to the community, it applies to the concepts, it applies to the principles, and I think a lot of those who are seen progressing, starting from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, certainly the whole spiritual side is the same. Guru Gobind Singh Ji basically took Guru Granth Sahib and made that the Guru, so he's making a very strong statement that the spiritual moral path is exactly the same, there's no change, right? So
what was different?
There's nothing different on that basic path.
Okay.
That's why Guru Granth Sahib, which was written all by previous gurus, was declared the Guru by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So he's saying, I'm not showing you a different direction. It's exactly the same principle, same spiritual path, same ethical path, everything else. So obviously the two major things we note, one was the conflict against the Muslims and fighting for righteousness, fighting against oppression, and the other was the external form. The five.
The articles of faith.
The articles of faith, whatever. But the part about standing up against evil and standing for righteousness and fighting for it, that also has been there from Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time. And I think if you really look at it, Sikhi shows us actually 3 different levels of fighting oppression.
Yeah.
You have to fight oppression, you have to oppose what is wrong in society. And the basic level is we should do it all with love, talk to people,
Absolutely.
do it that way, and through mutual understanding. And you see that through each of the gurus. They talk, they try to address things.
It's a dialogue.
Through dialogue, exactly. And the next level was protest, peaceful protest. And you saw Guru Nanak Dev Ji speaking up against Babur. You saw them all doing that, being willing to do that. And the ultimate, of course, was Guru Vichaar, who opposed it by giving his own life. He said, I'll stand up for these, for the right of the Hindus, even though there wasn't the Sikh issue.
Yeah.
So it was for righteousness and for the human rights, not just for ourselves, but anyone else also, and for freedom of religion. But he showed how to do it peacefully through self-sacrifice. And the ultimate, when everything else fails, then both Guru Har Gobind Ji and Guru Gobind Singh Ji showed us that when everything else fails, then the right thing to do is to pick up the sword and fight.
I think I can pack up and go home.
That was also there from Guru Har Gobind Ji's time before we even got to Guru.
Okay.
So we think only Guru Gobind Singh Ji showed us that, but those things were there. But of course he did introduce the external forms and the...
I think clinch them.
So that way, I think what is important for us to remember is the very rich legacy which Guru Gobind Singh Ji inherited right from
And continue,
Guru Nanak.
and the other gurus
Yeah.
build upon.
Right.
Okay, so here's a little story which you've all heard.
One point I wanted to say is that it is debatable whether the Khalsa and the baptism, the Khandala, or whether that was intended for everybody, or whether there was supposed to be in that specific time a creation of a brotherhood that was going to fight the Muslims. And there are debates on both sides of that. Because Guru Gobind Singh, he still had lots of followers who were Saridaris, and supposedly he even...
And they still are. It's continuing.
He sent his people to Banaras to study, and so he supported all that side also.
And one thing we know that, and we'll talk about that, lack of judgment and putting down or condemning anyone. How many Change Puranipuri has run through it all. Okay, so I'm going to read a little story, and I think that, to me, absolutely clinches the conception of the Khalsa. And like every other conception, it took some time, except in this case it took 230 years for gestation, and then this Khalsa consciousness was created, and the articles of faith and the formalization of okay, I'm going to digress a little bit here. I think each person's journey, this is just my thought about it, all of us have to ultimately transcend religion. Just like Guru Nanak when he said, I'm neither Hindu nor Muslim. All of us have to transcend. There has to come a point where it has to be oneness. And it has to be brotherhood of the entire universe, sisterhood of the entire universe. So what does religion do? It carves a path, a little, I want to say track for you to follow, where the do's and don'ts and the little path that kind of takes you. But ultimately when you reach Akal Purakh, when you are one with your Creator, really there is no religion. I mean, that's my belief. And again, it's up for debate. So here is my little story for the day. It was a momentous day in the family of Mehta Kalu. Their son had come of age, and it was time to endow him with the sacred Hindu thread. It was the most auspicious of ceremonies. Family and friends had gathered to bless the child. The thread was to symbolize the child's superior lineage and spiritual inheritance. A high priest had been invited to officiate the ceremony. A magnificent feast would follow to celebrate the great occasion. With a smile on his face and a sparkle in his luminous, wise eyes, the child walked to the sanctified spot where the priest awaited him. The priest began to chant Sanskrit slokas, at the same time attempting to put the sacred thread around him. The child stopped him. Everyone was shocked and dismayed. An interruption of the holiest of holy ceremonies? In the hushed silence, his beautiful young voice rang out. What is this strange ceremony? the Brahmin spins a thread out of cotton and twirls it into shape. When it crumbles, a new one is put in its place. If the thread had any virtue, why would it break? The priest had never encountered such insolence. Pray, what kind of thread do you seek? He asked with writhing sarcasm. The child stood tall and confident, and facing the large gathering of guests said, from the cotton of compassion, spin a yarn of contentment, making knots of continence. Twirl it with truth, spin such a thread for the mind that neither breaks nor gets lost, nor burns nor gets soiled. No less a thread will I accept. The man who wears this is blessed. We've all heard the story. This was Guru Nanak sowing the seeds of the Khalsa consciousness, which is equality, oneness, freedom, and dignity for all. And no walls between humans. He was speaking truth to power as a child. He challenged the priest that everyone revered and obeyed the commands of. So he stood up, and to my mind, this is the moment that he said, we are all equal. Later, he shared the revelation of Ek Onkar, one creator, one universe. But even before that happened,
What was his age?
he was a young teenager, if that. Some historians put it lower than that, but in any case, he was not more than 13.
I thought Guru was not a Brahmin.
Hanji?
The Guru was not a Brahmin.
I didn't say that.
No, but I'm just asking, isn't that the thread that they put on?
No. Mehta Kalu was a Brahmin. Yeah. So,
I thought it was that.
No. This was the superior lineage. Yeah. And so, to my mind, this young child, Guru Nanak, just tore and challenged this fabric of society that put one caste or one human being over another. And this was the beginning of the Khalsa consciousness, the beginning of equality, the beginning of really freedom to worship, freedom for upward mobility, freedom to live in dignity without anyone telling you that you are less than anyone else. And this was also the man who finally, later on, not finally, but said that women are next to God. So he shocked the world. So yes, we were fighting the tyrannical regime that wanted to convert us, but we were also fighting the caste system, the rigid walls that divided man and man. Think racism, think prejudice, think slavery. This was exponentially worse because it was sanctioned by the laws. Think Rosa Parks, who defied all of this and did not sit in the back of the bus. What Guru Nanak did, again, was exponentially bigger than that. You know why? Because Rosa Parks could not have existed in that environment. Because anyone that stepped out of line, the punishment was death, capital punishment. You drank from the well of a Brahmin, you were killed. Your shadow fell on a Brahmin, you were killed. There was no hope. So this was the social environment. And then there was Babur. So Guru Nanak spoke truth to power, to the common people and to the kings, to the priest, to the spiritual heads and the temporal heads. So he challenged both. And what did he challenge them for? He challenged them for a radical new social order. Everything that we are still fighting for equality, for freedom, for education for all. He opened the doors of education to women. They were not allowed to enter temples or to be educated. Their status was lower than that of Shudras. And when he said that you seek a woman as a companion and you lose her as a wife and you go seek another, and the only entity that is not dependent on her nurturing and her caring and her love is Akal Purakh. He put the status of women very high, front and center in society, because he knew that it is women who is going to change the world if and when it's going to change. Because God made woman a nurturer, a birther, and gave her a heart that is embracing and forgiving, full of compassion. So we make Guru Nanak, this old man with a beard and a rosary, and we think he's a spiritual guru. And we make Guru Gobind Singh this warrior with a sword and a falcon. And we say that Guru Nanak gave us spirituality and Guru Gobind Singh made us warriors. Well, it was Guru Nanak who said, "Jetau prem khilan ka chao, sir tar tali gali meri. It marg pair tarije, sir dije kaan na kije." Give me your head, he said. And Guru Gobind Singh asked for a head. What is asking for a head? It's surrender. It's acceptance. It's saying that I am not going to use my intellect to do wrong deeds and to justify them and rationalize them. That is giving your head to the Guru and walking the path of Gurmat, which is nothing but the enlightened path. What is Gurmat? Facing the Guru. Guru is the enlightener. And we are so blessed to have the teachings of the Sikh Gurus and all those saints, regardless of what religion they came from, they were enlightened. And the Gurus not just embraced their wisdom, but gave it equal status. So this is just so beautiful, so amazing that I just tear up thinking of it. We haven't understood it. We look at our gurus differently. We do, we really do. Oh, Guru Nanak said, I'm neither a Hindu nor a Muslim. Well, you know what Guru Gobind Singh did? When he was presented those 2 cups, he put a flower on it. That I'm not going to stir up anything. I'm going to get absorbed in humanity. We don't get the message, and that's our tragedy today. As a community, as a people, as individuals. We don't get this message. We don't share it. We look down upon people. We have created hierarchies. So, as we talk about Vaisakhi and celebrate Vaisakhi, I've noted down some points where, which I've already hinted at, but let's go over them again. So, Guru Nanak Sahib challenged the inequity, which was the worst kind of racial discrimination. He elevated the status of women. He condemned practices that devalued any and every human being. And gave a human the ultimate blessing by reminding human beings that you are the light. Tu Jyot Swarup hai, not a sinner. You haven't been banished from any paradise. You are the light. Be the light. Recognize the light. Be aware of who you are. The Gurus also de-emphasized religion. Forgive me for saying this. Because we have seen what religion does. It's divisive. It gets into good and bad and dogma and conversion. Sikhi doesn't have any of that. No proselytizing. Jit dware ubhre titte lay ubhar. Doesn't want you to be a Sikh or a Hindu or a Muslim, whatever your faith is. However you worship. Whatever your inspiration is, be that. Follow that, be truthful, be authentic, be real, be honest. Those are his values. Live with integrity, live in righteousness, share what you have. Live in divine remembrance. Because why? Because you want to suck up to the divine? No, because when you live in divine remembrance, you will inculcate divinity in you. It's very practical things that we've turned into dogma and rituals, and we use Sikhi as a vehicle to put down others who we think are not as good as us. So he encouraged pluralism of faith. We don't have it in practice. We all think, there are those who call us infidels, there are those who say that people will burn in hell if they don't believe in this prophet or whatever. The prophets didn't say that.
That's what Govind Singh's fight with the Khalsa, using the Khalsa was, it was for protecting.
It was. But the thing is,
It wasn't for...
it wasn't.
Sikhi, it was
No. Sikhi is a community of people that believe in these ideals. Conscious, mindful living at every level. Respecting the body, respecting humans, respecting yourself, respecting the planet. Pavan Guru, respecting the air, clean air. How is Pavan the Guru? Ever thought about that? How is Pavan the Guru? Guru is enlightener, right? You don't breathe, you're gone, you're dead. Pavan is your breath that connects you, that keeps you alive. And we've polluted our air. Pani Pita, he fought Bali Kandhari, who tried to control water. We hear these sakis, we relate them. We don't get the right message always. Guru Nanak fought for clean air, pure water, access of water for everyone, respect for earth, for the planet. And his path was the path of devotion. Devotion not to himself, but devotion to Akal Purakh. Because this was not about the gurus. This was about creating a race of people. And it takes lifetimes to get there. We're not there. But at least let us know what our aspirations should be. Can any of us claim to be Khalsa? But at least let us know what that is. If we don't know that, if we don't aspire towards that, there's no hope of getting there. Khalsa was also a land, Khalas land it was called, that belonged to the king. It could neither be rented, not sold, or anything done without the king's permission. So that was the Khalsa land. It belonged to the king. And here, Guru Gobind Singh said, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa. Not Guru Nanak, not Guru Gobind Singh, not 5th Guru, not 9th Guru who died for freedom of worship. So, belonging to the Creator and believing in the brotherhood, sisterhood, community created by the Creator. This vast wealth of humanity that the Gurus wanted us to connect with. You follow these principles and there will be no hunger or poverty or the inequality in income that has never been as wide today as before. And we are so comfortable with it. The girls were kidnapped then and sold. More than 300 girls were kidnapped by Boko Haram. The media dropped it. Forgotten. Who knows what's happened to them? Khalsa fought for all of this. Brought those women back. Risked their lives. And brought them back to their families. This was the path of devotion and service to all. Without getting pompous or self-righteous. And the institutions that were started by Guru Nanak and the Gurus that followed were all institutions that brought humanity into that one fold. Langar, Pangat, Sangat, Gurdwaras, right? Harmandir Sahib with the 4 doors facing 8 directions. And don't forget the foundation being laid by a Muslim. Where is the division of religion in this? I mean, just think about it. Your premier institution, your premier temple of worship, foundation laid by a Muslim. Think of the vastness of the Guru's heart. Did you know that Guru Har Gobind Singh built a mosque for his followers, Muslim followers? Not too far from Harmandir Sahib. How amazing is that? He didn't want them to become Sikhs or follow him. He wanted them to follow their path, their devotion to Allah, because he knew that was the same. And that mosque became defunct and was destroyed. And just a few years ago, not so long ago, I think less than 4 or 5 years ago, it was re-established and is in use now. That is the Khalsa spirit.
On the institutional aspect, there is about one thing.
Please.
The new generation, not only in diaspora but also in India, are discarding increasingly what you describe as the symbols. And there are scholars who really point out sort of disparity between the Sikh doctrine of gender equality and the patriarchal institutional setup structures. For example, take Panth Pyaras. There is so much debate going on why they all should be men. Why can't the women be part of that Panth Pyara? Similarly, the earlier, for example, they are not being allowed to do Kirtan in
It's absolute nonsense. Yeah.
so many issues, some vanishing, some still persisting, and so on and so forth. The main point which I really like to know from you is, are you affected or influenced by Nikki Guninder Singh's book, The Birth of Khalsa, purely from a feminist point of view? Are you?
You know, I'm afraid I haven't read it. I know her main thesis, but I have not read the book. I need to get it and read it. Sorry, I won't be able to comment on that.
For example, we talked about the word Khalsa. Equally important is to talk about the birth. It's actually a metaphor.
Yes.
It's a metaphor which Nikki uses very eloquently, right from the conception stage, and she has a full-fledged chapter on Guru's labor pain and so on and so forth.
And all the blood and treasure that was
Right.
expended during that gestation period. But Uncle, let me add one thing to that. I don't know. I have no answers, or I cannot second guess why a woman did not rise and give her head, right? But let me say that you can give your answer. Let me say that Guru Gobind Singh made Mata Sahib Kaur the mother of the Khalsa. Think about that.
Right.
What is a mother? The birther, the caregiver, the nurturer, the preserver. Someone
She
who
also adds
the sweetness.
She sort of more respects Guru Gobind Singh Ji more as a mother rather than as a fighter or a
And also adds
demolisher of it.
sweetness. Adds sweetness. So you cannot just, gender equality is the foundation. But you cannot say they are both the same. Their rights are the same. Their roles could be slightly different too. Why couldn't he ask one of the Panch Pyaras to add sweetness? Why couldn't one of... he's the father of the Khalsa. He made Mata Sahib Kaur the mother of the Khalsa. Because it's the mother that's going to pass on, that's going to teach, that's going to preserve, that's going to hold the child close to the heart and make sure those things are learned and passed on.
So he himself did lot of nurturing to Khalsa.
Yes.
Therefore, why not accept the image of Guru Gobind Singh being mother of Khalsa?
But he gave us a mother too.
Gurdwara gives us uses both men.
Yeah, for Akal Purakh, for Vaheguru.
So why not?
Yeah, no, Vijay. The fathers are also nurturers.
We normally associate nurturing and
But fathers are also nurturers.
forgiveness
Yeah.
of women, and those are the aspects of Vaheguru that we always talk about.
Yeah.
Yet all the other religions only call him
Yeah.
father and not mother.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying is,
I don't think all women are like that. All women are not nurturers. All women are not. They have as many defects as men have. And thus there are some women who are extremely good. They're mothers. Every woman is a mother. They can be very good, but it is
yeah.
unfair to say that women have any superior emotional status on the rest of the
I am not saying that men.
Superior or inferior.
Yeah.
The point is, individuals have a variation all over the place.
It's a spectrum.
We should not be stereotyping them.
No, and it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. I'm talking about the symbolism, of the mother. What does a mother stand for? Right? And of course, there are mothers who live up to the concept of motherhood, and those that don't. But what is the symbol? What does the word mother mean to you? Right? Mother is someone who holds you close to the heart. Mother is someone who carries you, gives you birth, right? And that,
After that.
and raises you. So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about, oh, this woman has, we're all human. And my God, I don't know of a bigger nurturer than my husband.
You're lucky.
I'm very blessed. I am. I'm very blessed. So I'm not knocking that. I'm talking about, just like we are saying, why didn't one woman give a head? So understand this. We need to understand this, that beyond the symbols, beyond the stereotypes, Gurbani and its lessons are gender neutral.
It uses metaphors based on the society.
Exactly right.
That's why Vaheguru is the husband always.
It's contextual. It's contextual. Bani's message is for all times, but it's rooted in its own historical period.
Can I have my minute?
Please, you can have 10.
No, only 1 minute.
No, don't.
No, it's a discussion. Yeah.
What I would say is, this is my humble opinion, which is that all religions are embedded in the culture of their time.
Yeah.
Women didn't have the pill to go out and fight. They had to mother their kids from Guru's time. Right?
But they did go out and fight.
They did
To some extent, but this
but mothers
Yeah.
women had different burdens and things.
Yes, and still do.
Yeah, so you cannot.
That's another.
You can't blame them for not standing up.
Yeah.
Not only that, there is culture, every religion is embedded in the culture in which it started.
Of course.
And no religion is static. Religion grows with time, modifies with
Yeah.
time, modifies with the practice. And one pertinent question is, Khalsa is some Sipahi. What is the pertinence of Sipahi in our current age? Am I supposed to go join an army?
Let me tell you. Let me give you what the Guru says.
Not army, but
Ranjit ji,
strong enough to fight.
are you interested in the answer to the question you posed? Khalsa soi jo kare nit janga. Hun har roz aisi ladai karni hai. You have to fight with your own lower drives, with your mind, with the 5 rogues that are constantly taking you everywhere where you don't want to go. It's the fight within yourself to be a better human.
Okay, that's one.
There's also at the social level.
That is done by the son of...
Yes, I was going to go there. So that's the biggest fight we are fighting. We fight the outside negative energies after we become mindful of our own propensities. And that's why the Guru said, Hum nahi change burani koi. Because if you are always going to be riding this high horse of how great I am, I'm going to fight everybody else. Excuse me. Take a breath. Just look at yourself.
I think what Guru really spoke about was the expression called youth.
Yes.
And what he meant by youth was Dhanji ho tako
Yes.
mukte hari chit mein youth.
Yudh bichare.
And youth is really righteousness, protection of righteousness.
Righteous values.
But starting from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they use the symbology of war. The word khanda and khadag and all these come in even in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's book.
Yes.
So it's used for this internal view.
It's used for the internal thing. It's also in parallel used for fighting for righteousness wherever you see it assaulted. Speak up. Don't be timid. And you know what we do? You know what we are doing here? We are standing up someone who was technically absolved because the video of him bashing up his girlfriend was not legally allowed. Today, we are taking buses to protest
I think
against the DA who's persecuting.
Sikh society is essentially because of lack of faith in what you call the Janam Sakhis and plus the authorship of Dasam Granth, whether it's...
It has hurt us, uncle. It has hurt us. This has hurt us.
Because, that is what the new generation is obsessed with. They think, what's the proof? For example, they are raising the issues like this. Do you know what were the actual Gurbani which was recited by Guru Gobind Singh Ji while preparing Amrit? Does anyone know it? Who formulated these Amrit Banis, the so-called Amrit Banis?
You know, I think let the scholars debate and fight. I think the essence of what the Gurus have said, we know what that is.
The Gurbani.
We know what that is, okay? And after a while, all of this just becomes a vehicle for exhibiting your own knowledge or debating or whatever, or getting whatever degrees you want to get. But I think what we need to do is, the Guru's message about Lakh Chaturai Syanpa, Kite Kam Na Aaya. So keep on debating and keep on doing all of that. But if you have devotion in your heart, there is enough that you have to follow and to connect, to be good and to do good. I think that essentially is what we need to celebrate as we celebrate the birth of the Khalsa.
The traditional or conventional sort of interpretation of the current situation is very much deep in the psyche of Sikhism, and almost every Sikh of traditional understanding or values certainly believes that whatever gurus have been saying is absolutely valid, will remain valid for future, though there are people now pointing out the crisis which the Sikh society is facing, and whether the Khalsa term has any relevance for the contemporary situation, and what exactly is its future. These are the questions.
The future depends on us.
Right.
The future depends on the generations that we raise. The future depends on how we understand and imbibe the message. None of that is controversial. The essence of Sikhi, the message of Sikhi is not controversial. It's not. It's
for people like us, but for
I'm going to leave them to their pastime, whatever that is. It doesn't bother me. But one more thing that I want to talk about, and then we can discuss it more, is the concept of Chardi Kalaa, which is so beautiful. And think about this. Hamri karo haath racha, पूरन होए चित्त की इच्छा, तव चरणन मन रहे हमारा, अपना जान करो प्रतिपारा. Right? हमरे तो सबे तुम गावो. Right? Guru Gobind Singh wrote this. And what happened to his children? And why?
oh, this reminds me of a very interesting.
Hold the thought, Uncle. Uncle, just hold the thought for a second, right? No, don't apologize. Just hold the thought. I just want to pose this question. Because I've been asked this question. We use Chaupai to give us solace, to connect us, to ask for protection, right? What happened to the children of the man who wrote it? Were they protected?
Yeah, because their souls are in great shape.
Yes.
Their bodies were destroyed.
Yes. And Viji, they died with dignity. They would have been slaughtered anyways. They fought for the principles. What do we do? What do we do? We compromise our integrity, our soul, our principles for nothing every day. So did they die in vain? No. Today, that little subcontinent of India, whatever you call it, they may have their rights and they may have their people who look the other way when genocide of other faiths are happening. But essentially, they are living together better than others. And it is still called, with all its faults and all its flaws, it is still protected. Look at all of the Middle East, and look at Israel, that little oasis, and look at India.
If Guru Gobind Singh Ji had not created the Khalsa, not started this whole thing, you would have had this Islamic crescent.
Completely, utterly. Completely, utterly.
Now, the Gurus respected all faiths, but
the choice.
Not the destruction of some faiths to
Not forcible conversions, Viji. He accepted. Come on. Guru Nanak's companion was Mardana, and the foundation of Guru Harmandir Sahib was by Muslim. But not that you become a Muslim or we're going to kill you. So he preserved the freedom of choice of worship. Yes, Uncle, sorry.
Mentioned a very small incident. A press reporter moved from Mohali to Chandigarh asking everyone, Sikh of different ages, young boys, grown up, elderly, a simple question. What do you remember happened in Sikhism on 25th and 26th December? Everyone said, no, this is something to do with Christmas, nothing to do with that. And then he had to point out that it is Chote Sahibzade in Sirhind who were called in those dates.
But see, even I didn't know that date.
Sorry.
So knowing a historical fact isn't necessarily that critical. I said even I did not know that.
Oh, okay, right.
I didn't know the date.
No, which shows our failure on essential things. The way we,
I don't know, remembering every date is that essential?
Yeah, the history and so on and so forth.
You know, different people are inspired.
Your history, then, I mean, you don't really.
Different people are inspired by different things.
Punjab definitely celebrates those days, that everywhere you will see the whole streets are different during those times, and they would Lord Mela, and you just walk. I've been to Punjab mostly in December, and I see a total environment. Anytime you go visit a Gurdwara or something, it's langar everywhere, and they'll remind you about it. So it's like known.
So coming back to Chardi Kalaa, right? So this man who lost his father, who lost his children, right? Who fought against armies much bigger than his. He wrote about Chardi Kalaa. Because you know what? Through all the travails and all the struggles, the victories and the defeats, all of those, the spirit, he was talking about the spirit that remains indomitable.
Zafar Nama was an great example.
Absolutely, I was going to come to that next.
Sorry.
Yes, no. Don't apologize, this is a shared discussion. So we think he lost the battle, but he wrote this letter of victory. This letter. So that's the spirit, that's the Khalsa spirit. Indomitable. Do we have it?
In varying degrees, various people have it, and I think there is some of that around.
I know, but I'm just saying to what extent, right? It doesn't, but I think that's what we need to grow. That's what the seed is there. Every Sikh woman knows that she cannot be pushed around. I'll tell you that. Because she knows what the Guru said for her. So yes, the seed is there. But we just have to grow that. We have to water that. We have to fertilize that. We have to make sure, you don't take care of the seeds and they die. So all these festivals are there to remind us. But you know what? Sometimes we just do the dance and we forget the purpose. And then this amazing Guru bows down and asks for Amrit. There's no greater example of egalitarian spirit than that. I'm not higher than you. Can you please baptize me? It's because of you that I have the glory. It's because of you that I am who I am, that I've had the victories. You are my radiance.
Full comments for your lovely presentation. Aesthetically very pleasing, eloquently very well formulated. My best compliments.
Oh, Uncle, thank you. Thank you. It's, I don't know what it is. It's just being aware of our gifts. That's all. Of what our heritage is. And what we need to remember and aspire to. We're all flawed pieces of work in progress. We make mistakes all the time.
What exactly are the factors responsible for our contemporary situation? As I said, not only diaspora, but take Punjab, for example. I am told that almost every village, not only the relatives, but middle-aged people have short their hair.
Uncle, our leaders have betrayed us.
But always there's been only a small fraction of people who followed Sikh at any time. While they kept their hair, everybody used to keep their hair.
Yeah.
But what fraction of them were doing part of understanding Sikhi? It was always a small percentage anyway. And I don't know if that percentage is any less now, might even be better now.
You know, Vijay, I don't know if you're aware of this or if this group is aware of this, but in tens of thousands, people are embracing Sikhi in Russia, China, South America, through being inspired by Yogi Bhajan.
I think in Punjab and India also.
In Russia. Yes. In South. Oh my goodness. You know, I was in Florida a few months ago, giving some workshops, and there was this woman from Venezuela, and she invited me to give a talk there. And she said, we have a huge congregation of people that have embraced Sikhi and wear the bana and do their bani. And not like us, not like me at 10 o'clock in the morning when you get ready. They take the Amrit Vela seriously. I was at a workshop in LA, and we were talking about, this was, my son took me there on Mother's Day. He said, I have a gift for you, Mom, but you have to come here and take it. And I said, what? And he said, I want you to attend a workshop at Kundalini Yoga. I'm like, oh my God, Pura din. And over there, everyone asked, okay, what is a good day for you? How does your day turn out? And what is the reason for that? And there was this woman who was from Canada, who said that the day I miss my Japji at Amritwela, I'm not in Sahaj or equilibrium. She was a Canadian. And there were all these people. The hall was full, a few hundred people from different parts of the world. And they were all talking about the joy of doing Japji before sunrise. I'm fast asleep before sunrise. So, practice, discipline, knowing the essence. Bani, Bani is so important, connecting with Bani. I have a small group of friends with whom I'm doing Sajpat. After a very long time, I'm doing Sajpat. And the joy of discovering, the nuggets of Gurbani.
What is the target? How long will it take? 1 year?
We have no target. We're doing it joyfully.
No, what I meant is there no target that you'll finish it in 1 year?
No, we're every day we do a few pages, and maybe 1 year or maybe a bit longer. But it's not about speed reading. It's about all of us are sharing the joy of discovering nuggets in Gurbani, and we are sharing them. I'm writing them down. New things every day. I'm like, wow. And I may read 3 pages or 2 pages or 1 page one day. But
what is the mechanism? You read and then discuss?
We text each other that we are here, and then we meet, we talk about it, or we share or whatever. So it's not the mechanics, it's not the speed, it's not the target. It's the pure joy of reading Gurbani slowly, and waking up to the Guru's wisdom, a line at a time.
That is a big part of Khalsa.
And there are many groups at various stages doing this.
Yes, global communities.
There are people following it, and people look at our traditional things like the Gurdwaras or the people you look at in Punjab. Everybody says everybody's lean, but there are dimensions that things are continuing into.
It's so beautiful. It's so.
There are so many groups over the internet that are following Sikhi, and in the diaspora among other Sikhs. So there's an ongoing.
I was surprised that Anna told me, so I was in LA, and I just told my brother-in-law, I said, Viji, Sukhasan na karna, I have to go do thoda ja Sajpat. And Anna says, oh Mom, you're doing it too, I'm doing it too, this is the 2nd year I'm doing it. I didn't even know that he doesn't read Gurmukhi fluently. He's doing it in transliteration.
That he was doing it also.
Yeah, he does it in transliteration.
No, I do it when I walk.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm just saying that connecting with the Bani. You asked me, Uncle.
I was doing it yesterday, and I'm doing it every day when I walk. And one of word that there's some, it is like reading a novel. No, it's not.
Poetry.
It's like reading literature.
It is literature.
And if you look at it as a literature, there are so many dimensions. But saying very good thing about Japji Sahib. But the vastness of Guru Granth Sahib and the various ways it is looked at, various dimensions, and what was I going to say? One of the beautiful words I saw yesterday, which is Paramananda, right? Guru Nanak, Guru Arjan Dev, Paramananda. So it is such a beautiful word. Parama, of course, can mean prime, can also mean God, right? And Ananda, of course, is,
This, yeah.
So it's basically you're saying that Paramananda, there is some kind of derivation that if you have God within you, if you have the light within you, and if He's in Paramananda, you are sharing in it.
Beautiful. So, Uncle, you asked what is wrong, right? And तुसी पूछा सी कि what do you think has happened? And I think we've disconnected ourselves from the source. We cannot pass on what we do not live. And we're not living it.
Is there anything wrong?
Hanji?
Is there anything wrong? I would probably argue there is nothing wrong. It's always been that way.
It's always been. Yeah. But yes. Yes. Yeah. But and so we don't need to. And so remember, Chardi Kalaa, we don't need to get discouraged. Follow the path. Just Bhai Veer Singh, he's becoming my hero as I'm discovering him slowly, or rediscovering him, or discovering him for the first time through Gurmukhi, which I'm still, I can say Guru Granth Sahib. When you give me a book, it just takes me 5 minutes to read a page, right? So, but it's like, it's amazing. He says in one instance that you're always struggling with, dirty water in a bucket. And you're wondering what to do with it. He said, just turn the tap on. Just turn the fresh water on and see what happens to the slushy water. That's all you need to do. Just turn the tap on. The tap of Pani, the flow of Pani, the nirmalta of Pani. So, no, Uncle, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. So we have to, I think, not worry about really what's happening. And since we know that it's all under hukum, right? We're not doing this, we're not controlling, but at the same time, don't get smug and complacent. If we can strive to be the best we can do, I think that's all we can do. So not just develop tolerance of differences, wherever they are, but celebrate them and honor them. Whether it's our children or the next community, whatever. And again, like I said, live with integrity, live with authenticity, and as much as we can, pass these values by exemplifying them. Our children don't do what we tell them to do. They do what we see us doing. And sometimes they'll find their own way, and that's fine too. That's their life, that's their journey, that's their destiny. In the end, it's all going to be divine, because that's all there is that'll remain. And then that principle of sharing. Share what you have through discussions. Share your wealth, share your blessings, your gifts, your money. Don't be afraid of taxes.
I think taxes are a privilege.
Yes. Don't cheat on them.
The more tax problems you have, the more you're likely enough to have a problem.
And even as you live in Chardi Kalaa, just think, just be aware of the little things that you can do to change the inequities. Work hard, as Guru said, right? big ethic of Sikhi, of the Khalsa community. Work hard. Fight for our freedoms. Fight for our freedoms. Fight to be whole inside. And the freedom of others to be who they are. Their choices. And those choices is what makes this humanity, this planet, so amazing, so interesting. The choice to be who you are. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
That's very positive, very some uplifting thoughts in there.
It's experiential, it's what you learn from life, I guess.
But you learn it if you're looking for it. If you search and you listen to Gurbani, then you're constantly learning from life.
Constantly learning from Gurbani, constantly. Go find those nuggets. So many of them. So we gave you back half an hour? No.